Hey guys, what's up? Brittany back today to talk about all of my favorite vaping things and more. I've got a couple beers, I've got a couple questions that you guys have asked that I'm gonna answer, so let's get started. First and foremost, I do have a beverage today. This is the Lone Tree Brewing Company's Mountain Mama Lager, Golden Lager that is. There are a ton of breweries out here in Colorado, and I'm trying to slowly but surely try a new variety of things. So this came to us last night by some friends that were visiting, and I just figured I'd crack one open and chit chat with you. Hope you don't mind. It's decent. About halfway through it, so this might get a little weird. I hope not. But it's good. So that's what I have. Now, of everything vaping related that I own, this by far is my absolute favorite. This is my copper vanilla clone. I purchased this for myself from eBay through a company called Vaping Toys. I've ordered some other things from them, but this mod is just the easiest, simplest, most beautiful thing I own. I love it. 9 times out of 10, this is what I have in my hand that I'm vaping on. It is a clone. However, of all of the gear that I own, this is the only thing that I would purchase the original. I just don't got that kind of money. So maybe one day my dream is absolutely to own an authentic copper vanilla mod. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. It has a locking ring on the bottom. However, if you #keep it tight, keep your button tight, then there really is no need for this locking ring. Unless you're like me, I find when I like Cali claw my mods, I'm kind of a button turner, and on quite a few of my mods that ends up unscrewing my button over time. So I'm working on that, but generally I don't have to go in and adjust the fire switch too often. I do have to clean it out, otherwise that locking ring can get stuck, but you know, in standard practice you should probably keep all of your mods fairly clean anyway. Threw my favorite atomizer on top. This is my white tugboat clone, version 1. It's kind of beat up on the outside. That white coating has chipped off in quite a few places, but it still works, and it's still my favorite atomizer. So for the top adjustment of this copper vanilla, which is quite standard these days with mods, you screw your atomizer onto the top 510 connector, you tighten your connector, and then if you have battery rattle, it does have a bottom portion that unscrews that you would adjust out to take up that battery rattle. However, I'm such a genius. I ordered some eFest 25 milliamp, 35 amp batteries online from lightningvapes.com and accidentally ordered me some button top batteries, which upset me at the time. But whenever I pop it into the copper vanilla 18650 tube, I do not have to adjust for battery rattle. It just fits, and it fires every time like a champ. So there's that. That is my favorite mechanical mod. I love this guy. Do I recommend it for anybody who wants a beautifully performing mechanical mod? Fucking A, I do. And then another thing that I received just recently, but I have been loving, that I travel with quite often when I do travel, like traveling for me is just getting out of the house. I did get an Aspire Atlantis tank with the 0.5 ohm coil heads, and I have to say that this tank is by far, could I say that anymore, by far better, in my opinion, than the Nautilus tank that I have right here. Only because, for me, going from tank vaping to RDA vaping, I very much prefer RDA vaping, and this tank is the closest I've gotten to an RDA vape without an RDA. I have it on my Hanaclone at the full 30 watts, so my battery life on this doesn't last very long since I am cranking it at the full wattage capacity, but I do love this setup pretty much. This and this are my go-tos most of the time now. Just, I love them. The only gripe I have about the Atlantis is the tank capacity is quite small, but I have learned since that Aspire has come out with, I believe it's a 5 mil tank and a 7 mil tank. You don't have to buy the whole thing brand new as like 35, 40 bucks. You just buy a replacement top for $10, I think, and then you have a larger tank. So I'm probably going to look into that at some point, but for now, I just love the Aspire Atlantis tank. Okay, so that is my gear. Since this is a favorites kind of video, of course I have my homemade honey pear in the Tugboat. In the Atlantis, I have a mixture of the last of my donut pounder and then like a homemade snickerdoodle that we have. So the mixture itself is quite interesting. It's not terrible. It's just not something that you would expect. Okay, so for another new and notable, aside from this beer, I only have the box to show you. But I also did find this to be quite enjoyable. This comes from the Denver Beer Company, which the brewery I found out is not far from my house. It's closer down into Denver, but it's not far. This is the Graham Cracker Porter. I had, I think, 2 of these last night, and I've not seen this before, but I am going to be going back for more because this stuff was pretty good. I don't know why it was so good. Like I said, I'm not a beer nerd, but I like things because I like them. I don't like things because I don't like them. That's kind of like all I have. But that was pretty good. So I'm going to have to go find some more of that. I've been watching a couple new things on Netflix. I did ask for recommendations yesterday, and I got a ton of them, so I will be geeking out on some Netflix soon. But what I've been watching this week is a show called Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain. Basically, he just travels to various countries around the world that aren't like spotlight countries, if you will, and he just goes and discovers like their cuisine and their lifestyle, and it's quite interesting if you're into like the documentary style TV shows. I really like it. And then the stand-up comedian Eliza Schlesinger, I hope I'm saying that last name right. She is fucking hilarious. She has 2 comedy specials on there. One is called War Paint, which is an older special she did, and then her newer one is called Freezing Hot. And actually, that special was filmed here in Denver, Colorado. That's not why I liked it though. I just thought that she was hilarious. She nails things. She just hits it right on the head. As a female, I'm usually not into female comedians, but something about her is just spot on. So go check her out if you like stand-up comedy. What else? Those are my new and notables. Of course, Marilyn Manson's new album is out, and he's touring, and he's going to be performing in Denver in like a week, and I'm going to go. So, of course, that's new and notable. Super stoked, super pumped. It should be a good time. Alright, questions that you guys have asked. Ben over on Twitter has asked me, what is the best intermediate variable tube mod? This might be a little bit of a letdown. I'm so sorry. I've only ever experienced the Vamo. This thing, I don't even remember what version mine is. I like the 3 or the 5 or the fucking 29 at this point. I don't know. This guy, I think mine only goes up to 15 watts. 15 watts. And I think by now, with all of the versions of the Vamo, you can get them that go up to like 30 watts. I don't know. If you're looking for a tube mod, I'm sorry, this is all I've ever experienced. And I've kind of gravitated away from this quite a bit just because of the size. So it's kind of more of like a baton size after you get used to just having something smaller. You know what I mean? Sorry, I don't have a lot of information on tube mods. I think E-cig has a few. I don't know. I might have to get back to you on that one. And then, did I answer the coil question? This is like my third time I've had to film this. I don't remember if I answered the coil question. Whoa! Hey, come here. Sorry. Come here. Dog's losing it. Sorry for the noise. Hi, you want to come make an appearance and say hello? Here's Hazel, our wiener, our dapple dachshund. Yeah, she's like our third child. But she's not chill. She's just cool. We love her. Say hi. Say I'm a wiener. Okay, coil question. If I answered this before, I will cut it out. But my go-to coil is, of course, 24 gauge Kanthal. Cami the Shep asked me this on Instagram. I use 24 gauge Kanthal. I wrap it 8 times per coil, dual coils, obviously. Wrapping it 8 times around a 3/32 bit gives me 0.32 to 0.35. That is just my sweet spot. It's not too hot and it performs great. So simple. Coil art. I really want to get into coil arts and do more like twists and claptons and staples. But sometimes I'm just a little pressed for time and I want something that just works. So Cami the Shep, that is my response to your question. So that is all I have for you today. Football season's now over. It's kind of sad. So I'm kind of lost, you know, which hopefully means, though, that spring is coming soon and we can pack away our sweatshirts and get our flip-flops out and tank tops and hoochie shorts and, you know, rock out to some spring and summertime. So, I'm gonna go. Enjoy the rest of my beer and just vape on some of my favorite things. If you have any questions for me in the future, I did want to throw this out. You can always contact me on Twitter or Instagram or even on my Facebook community page. Always just hashtag AskMommyVapes. You want to know my opinion on something? Just ask, and I'll answer your questions in future videos. So, yeah. See you guys next time.